In section 9.2, we're going to get into an overview of photosynthesis, and in the next video, we'll get into some more of the details for this section. So to get us started, what is photosynthesis? And if you look at the breakdown of the word, it tells you what it does. So photo means light, and synthesis means creating. So this is a process that uses light energy in the form of photons to make food in the form of glucose. So the general equation of photosynthesis is as shown, if it will pop up here. Oh, there we go. Okay, so 6 carbon dioxide plus 6 water plus energy, in this case in the form of light, will produce glucose and oxygen gas. You'll notice that this is a balanced equation. That's why you have the 6's in front of some of these things. So energy, carbon dioxide, water are what we need for photosynthesis to occur, and we're going to end up producing glucose and oxygen gas as a byproduct. In order for photosynthesis to occur, we need something to actually capture the light energy. So pigments are proteins that absorb and capture different wavelengths of light. So the most important pigment for photosynthesis is chlorophyll. And chlorophyll is a green pigment that is most used in photosynthesis. And if we look at this diagram, we have the absorbance of different wavelengths of light of different pigments. And chlorophyll A and B we can see in the solid line and this one large dashed line. And when you look at this graph, you see that it absorbs, both of them absorb in the orange-red range. They absorb very little in the green range, and then they absorb some in the blue ranges as well. So chlorophyll is green because it reflects back the green light. It does not absorb that green light, which is why it looks that particular color. These other lines represent other pigments that are found in plant leaves. But again, chlorophyll is the most important one, and that's why most leaves are green. When you get a chance, you can click on this link and read about or watch a video about why leaves change color, and it has to do with some of these other pigments as well. So photosynthesis occurs in the chloroplast, and there's 3 main structures that we want to focus on. So these green discs, some of my arrows are a little bit off, but these green flattened stacks or discs are called thylakoids, and they occur in stacks within the membrane. And those stacks are called, oh, I need one more to come in, called granum, and those are the stacks of thylakoids, and then the stroma is the fluid kind of similar to the cytoplasm that just surrounds all of these within a double membrane of this organelle. So different reactions of photosynthesis take place in different parts, though the thylakoid membrane is probably the most important one. Before we get into the details, we want to talk about electron carriers. And these are special compounds that can basically carry high energy electrons and transfer them and their energy to another molecule for various chemical reactions to take place. So in photosynthesis, the electron carrier that we're going to focus on is called NADPH. I like to remember that P in there for photosynthesis because that's the electron carrier that we talk about in photosynthesis. So this is what's going to carry high energy electrons from chlorophyll to power the other reactions of photosynthesis. And your book uses this analogy of it being like a pan to hold on to like hot coals. You're not going to just grab them all by yourself and carry those around, but you can use the pan to hold on to them and take them wherever you need to go. So the little coals are representing the electrons, and the pan is representing the electron carrier, in this case NADPH. One thing I want to point out on this picture is that NADPH is the form of this molecule that is carrying the high energy electrons and have it stored in there. But then you can break off the electrons and in hydrogen, and you're left with the low energy form, which is NADP+. And then when you need to carry the high energy electrons again, take the NAD+, add the electrons, add some hydrogens, and you can store it back as NADPH. Okay. So photosynthesis occurs in 2 stages. The first are the light-dependent reactions. So those are the ones that are going to absorb light and convert it into chemical energy in the form of NADPH that we were just talking about, but also in the form of ATP. This chemical energy is then used to power the light-independent reactions, also called the Calvin cycles, which are going to use that energy that you captured from the sunlight, stored in ATP and NADPH, to produce the glucose, which is the whole point of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis, again, remember, is trying to capture light and produce glucose. So this picture here is kind of showing the relationship between the two. The light-dependent reactions occur in the thylakoid, specifically in the thylakoid membranes, and the light-independent reactions, or the Calvin cycle, occurs in the stroma of the chloroplast. And so we're going to stop there for this, for this section, and then in the next video we'll get into more details of the light-dependent and light-independent reactions.